What's up, cooks? Welcome to the Card Kitchen. I'm the Card Chef, and today we are doing a tier list. That's right, a tier list, and we are going to be ranking all of the current EX Pokemon in the game, and it's going to be pretty difficult, I think, because there's a lot of cards that are basically never used, so those ones will be easy, but there are ones that are like somewhat used and some that are used like often but aren't like the top tier, and so it's gonna be pretty interesting, I think. So let's just get into it, and I guess we'll just go in order. To be completely honest, Venusaur is going to be the first one. I'm just gonna put him here for now. The thing with Venusaur for me is that it's a stage 2 that the only real value that it brings to your game plan is that it might be able to stay on the field for the entire game and kind of clear out your opponent's side of the board. But if it doesn't have the opportunity to do that, or your opponent can stop you from getting into your Venusaur before you even get it online, your game plan basically just goes down the drain, and then you're basically left with either one, something like an Executor EX, or two, a Leafeon, and that just won't be enough. I don't think it's bad enough to say D tier, but I will put it in a C tier. I don't think it's played in tournaments at all anymore, and even if it is, it's never topping at all, to be completely honest. Executor EX, I am going to put in A. I still think this card is super duper good. The last tier list I did a long time ago, I put Executor EX. I think I may have put him in B, and everyone yelled at me. But that was before he actually became like one of the best cards in the game, alongside Celebi. And now, like, he's not as good as he once was, but he's still super good. He's still played in, like, Arceus, Carnivine. He's still played in Celebi versions. He's still played alongside some other grass-type Pokemon. And he's just a super huge tank for a Stage 2, especially when you can play things like Erica and Giant Capes, or even just Rocky Helmets on such a huge body that you can get into pretty easily and do a ton of damage over time with, while you allow him to stay on the field. I think he just has so much value still in the game. Celebi EX, I feel, is almost in the same sense. The thing with Celebi that I like a lot, I don't think I can put it in S tier, but I will put it above Executor EX because it does a couple of things. One, you can heal it a ton because you have things like Irida or Erica, potions, things like Giant Capes, to allow you to be able to keep Celebi on the field for as long as humanly possible. And it's also a sweeper. So like, this card is meant to bring into the game and then just completely sweep your opponent's side of the board. And it has a very high chance of doing that, especially with like a ton of different builds. You can still do Executor EX Celebi, you can do Leafeon Celebi, you can still do Superior Celebi. So I do think the fact that you can like heal it a bunch and keep it on the field and then also just sweep games with it, I still think it's A tier. It's just that it doesn't have the greatest chance to do that, but I still think it's an A tier card. Yanmega, I'm going to put in B for now. I might switch it, but Yanmega is really good for a couple of reasons. One, the same reasons we just talked about Celebi EX. One, it's a colorless requirement, so you can put water energies on it, so you can actually heal it with Irida and with Erica, but it has 140 HP, and it's a stage 2. Stage 1, sorry. And the best decks it fits in with things like Dialga or Manaphy, those ramp cards just fit better in other decks than it does with a Yanmega. And so I just think like the best versions of certain decks that would put Yanmega in, they just have better versions. And so, but I do think it is a B tier, like easily B tier, like 120 damage for 3 energy that it could be ramped into by 2 different cards if you want, and then have the ability to heal and stuff. You just don't see it hugely in the meta anymore, and I'm not sure you really will. Leafeon, I'm definitely going to put in A. I think I'll put it in above Celebi. Simply due to the fact that not only can you ramp onto itself, but you can actually ramp twice, because you can ramp with this one and then ramp with another one. if you retreat it, and then you can also ramp onto other Pokemon as well. And any type of ramp card like this, even if it has like a drawback in the fact that it has to be in the active spot, it's still super duper good. Like I still think it's a very strong card. It is a considered, I guess, a meta deck with itself in Celebi, and I do believe even in the future, like as more grass type Pokemon come out, like this card's value will only go up as well. Charizard, I will still put it in A, but I'm going to put it at bottom of A. It's simply due to the fact that when all else fails and you don't really know what else to play, and the fact that you can be a new player and open genetic Apex packs and just completely unlock Charizard and Moltres in the same pack, and then just keep going with this deck for the rest of your life if you want to without opening another single pack, is a huge testament to Charizard. 200 damage, you never have to worry about, am I going to get enough energy? Am I gonna be able to knock out this Pokemon or that Pokemon, or have to worry about weakness? You never have to worry about any of that with Charizard EX because he does 200 damage, and there's basically nothing that can withstand that. In fact, there is nothing that could withstand that, except for maybe a Bastiodon, and that's not really played all that often anymore. Arcanine. I'm going to put Arcanine in D, and the reason why I'm doing this because I feel like it has no use case at all anymore. 3 formats ago, I probably would have put this in top of B, bottom of A, with Charizard, in one of the best decks, played alongside Charizard and Moltres. And is it better than Venusaur? I'm not sure anymore because, again, there are you can ramp into your Venusaur with your Leafeon and get into it pretty quickly. You can stall with Executor EX, and then once Venusaur is online, like it's going to probably stay online most often or not. Whereas like your Arcanine EX is going to damage itself. It might get one knockout, it might not, and then it'll damage itself. And then there's so much ramping and high energy, high attack. Pokemon with high attack happening in the meta right now. Like an Arceus would basically be able to knock this out once Arcanine gets one attack off. And it wouldn't even be able to knock out the Arceus that's going to knock it out anyway. So I just don't feel like it has a use case anymore, even if it was once like one of the better cards in the game, to be completely honest. I'm going to try to fix this on the screen so it fits it perfectly. There you go. And then Moltres. I feel like I still have to put Moltres in A, just because of the fact that it can ramp. And honestly, like, it can ramp into Infernape, it can ramp into a Charizard. Like, there isn't many things it can ramp into, but the 2 things it does ramp into, like, are pretty decent, like, to be completely honest. And I feel like most of these decks don't really work without Moltres, so it's like, how can I put Moltres into B if Charizard is in A, you know what I mean? Infernape, however, I just don't think Infernape's there right now, to be completely honest. There have been a bunch of different versions, one in Spacetime Smackdown, and then a new one in Triumphant Light with Heatran and Rotom and stuff like that to try and get those free retreats, to get all those combos off, trying to basically make Infernape be able to attack twice in a row. I just don't think it's there yet. Like I don't really know what will get it there. 2 energy for 140 is huge, but it's a stage 2. By the time you get into it, like you probably could have done that much damage with something else, to be completely honest. Like you could technically get Leafeon EX online and attack twice with it for 140, even though it has more energy requirement, quicker than you would be able to for Infernape. Now, would you be able to do 280 quicker than Infernape? I'm not sure, but I just don't think it's there. But it is a super strong card, so I am going to put it in B. I don't think I'm going to put it above Yanmega, though. Blastoise, I'll put it in with Venusaur. I feel like it's fitting to put it there. I still feel like this deck is probably still under-tested to this day. I think people tried to test it a lot, and people still might be trying to test it. But I wonder, like, with, like, Misty, Irida, and all these types of water like packages that we're getting, Manaphy, even Vaporeon, like if there's not a deck out there yet that someone just hasn't figured out, like maybe even Glaceon Blastoise, use Glaceon as a tank, get that free damage, build up your Blastoise with Misties and Manual Energies, and then you bring it in, and then you just possibly sweep games. But I think it only does, what, like 160 HP, so potentially not. But I will put it in C, I guess. No, honestly, I think it's probably D. No, I'll put it in C. But I'll probably put Arcanine up here too then, if that's the case, to be honest. I don't know. We'll keep it like this for now. Starmie, I will put in B. Starmie has kind of had a resurgence, and Starmie, for 2 energy, being able to attack very quickly, get free retreat, and then be able to move it with potentially with either Dawns or Vaporeons. And even if you don't, just the fact that you can do 90 damage super duper fast and then potentially heal it with things like Irida now is very, very strong. You can also play this in the Leafeon deck. I know that's doing pretty well. So this deck is like Starmie EX had a bit of a resurgence, so it is very good. I'm going to move this one over here for a sec. I'm going to put Lapras in top of C. Actually, I think it's a lot better than people think. I just don't think a lot of people could play this card because they just don't have it, and they probably never will, which is super unfortunate. I just recently built a deck with this, and it was very good. I did very well with it. It's very similar to Venusaur in the fact that it can heal itself every time it attacks, except that you can ramp into it with Misty, and you can also use Irida to heal it now, just like you could use an Erica for Venusaur. So it's basically super hard to get Lapras EX off the field. So Lapras EX 18 trainer, very strong. I built 16 trainer with 2 Shaman to heal even more. It was like impossible for my opponent to knock him out. So maybe I'm a little biased because like I said, I just recently built the deck with it. You can go check that deck out. It was pretty cool. But I am only going to put it in C because it hasn't been tested by enough people, and I could have just had good matchups or something like that. But I do think this card's a little bit better than some people otherwise would believe. Articuno is tough because it's one of the top decks right now with 18 trainer, but and I do think it'll get probably better as time goes on. I just don't have it in me to put it in A, if I'm being completely honest, because I don't think it's the card that's good. It's the deck. Like 18 trainer decks in general, like are gonna always be good and continue to get better as time goes on. Palkia EX though, however, I will put in A. I think I'm going to put it up here, to be completely honest. For one, like top of A for sure. It does 150 damage, even if it discards it. Certain decks, they just don't care about that, to be completely honest, in certain Palkia decks. And then, like, for instance, if it's a Vaporeon build, you don't care. Two, even if it's a Manaphy version, like, you don't really care either, because you most likely have a backup attacker anyways. And in a 18 trainer deck, you don't really care, because if you got those energies super fast, you most likely knocked out something that has either energy on it, or you knocked it out so fast that you get a ton of prizes right away, and then you could slowly build up to your last and final prize anyways. I think Palkia EX right now, there's like 3 different decks out there that you can possibly play. A Vaporeon build, a Manaphy build with Origin Form Palkia, or you can play an 18 trainer, and then I'm sure there's other builds that you can play as well. So this card is just probably one of the best water decks in the game. Gyarados EX, I haven't seen it around, honestly, to be completely honest. I still think it's probably B. I just don't think it's necessary. I will put it at bottom of B, I guess. No, I don't know. Water's so good right now. I guess I'll put it here. It has 180 HP. I think we'll do it like this for now. Because it still does quite decent attack, but like, you just can't play. No, you know what? Honestly, no, I'm going to put it down here. And the reason I do this is simply due to the fact that the reason why Gyarados was so good is because 140 damage in Gyarados EX's top days of its being the best deck in the game. 140, first of all, was a lot. It was a lot more then than it is now, if that makes sense. First of all, giant capes weren't around. And we didn't have the huge amount of trainer cards that we do now. And because of that, the trainer cards were limited, so you can play more Pokemon because you didn't have as much choice for trainers. And that deck was 2 Gyarados lines, 2 Greninja lines, and 2 Druddigon, which is 12 Pokemon. That's like almost impossible to do right now in the current formats that we are playing in. So because of that, where does Gyarados stand being a 4 energy attacker to do only 140 without being able to make it up with Druddigons and Greninjas? I think there's just better cards that can do that right now. Like, I think I would rather have an Arceus that could do 130 than a Gyarados that could do 140. So I don't see it being there. Glaceon, honestly, I don't think Glaceon has had its day in the sun, and I don't know when it will or if it ever will. It's not that great, like, to be completely honest. I've tested it, and I thought at the beginning it might be pretty cool. It's not that great. Like, let's be honest. Like, if it had 110 attack for 3 energy with its additional damage that it will do, I think it might be a little bit better. I just don't think it's very good. Like, I don't see how to build it to make it better. Like, I don't know where it fits and what it is. I think Pikachu EX, unfortunately, I don't even know where to rank Pikachu EX anymore because I've never seen it played in a tournament basically since it dropped out of the meta, right? Like, where do I put this? And so I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna put Blastoise down. I'm gonna keep Venusaur up here, but only because I think, like, it's still that one card that if it's on the field, it's like super hard to knock out, like very, very hard. You can even put potentially water energies in this deck and just heal it with Irida, heal it with everything. Like, just keep healing it, right? So I do think, like, it's one of those cards where if everything goes right, it's probably very good. But Pikachu, it's like I almost want to put it in D. Like, where has Pikachu been? Nowhere. Its HP is so low. And there's so much healing and so much ramping in the game right now that, yes, 2 energy for 90 or whatever is pretty fast and pretty strong for a basic still. But, like, I can ramp into something quicker, as quickly as you can manually do this, and probably have a stronger attack with a higher HP. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm actually going to keep it in D. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I literally am. Zapdos, I'm going to put in C. And I don't even know why I'm doing it. I think it's because, like, you can do 200 damage, and it's a good endgame sweeper if you can get lucky. But there's way better endgame sweepers, to be completely honest. Like, the game has changed so much, right? Like, I think Pachirisu for sure. I'm going to put it top of C. Just because I know Pachirisu, 18 trainer, is still pretty decent. Like, the fact that you basically just need to, you automatically start with Pachirisu, which is great. And as long as you have enough tool cards in your deck, you're always going to start with one. Or more likely will start with one. And then you can just start attacking super duper fast, right? And then you can just make sure to try and put giant capes. You can try a whole bunch of different stuff. But I still think because it's a viable 18 trainer card, I would put it at top of C. I don't think it belongs in B anymore. I haven't seen the 18 trainer deck do very well recently. But yeah, I think Gengar, I'm definitely going to put at the bottom of D. I love this card so much. It's just not strong enough. It's too late in the game. To be honest, yes, cool, it stops Cyrus's, but you know what? Like, even 100 damage, all psychic energy requirement, like, it's just not good enough. I've built it twice. I enjoyed playing it. Still enjoy playing it. It's just not that great. Mewtwo, I will put, unfortunately, right now, I'll put it at top of C. It still does 150 damage, okay? And not every deck is playing Darkrai anymore. It's not as popular in the meta as it once was. But it doesn't really matter because the best way to play Mewtwo right now is still with Gardevoir, I think. And again, it's just too many Pokemon in one deck. You have other decks that are going to be able to basically do the same amount of damage you want to do with Mewtwo but for way less investment, at least deck investment. So to have to play 2 Gardevoir lines, 2 Mewtwo, and then possibly a Mew EX and something else, it's just not really worth it. Like, it's just not, like, to be completely honest. Mew EX, I need to put it in A. I just don't know where. I'll put it after Palkia. I still think it's one of the best cards in the game. It's a card that could basically be put into any deck. And the decks that it's first of all, it's in one of the best decks right now. And it could also just be put into almost any deck, like, to be completely honest. You can put it in Manaphy decks. You can put it in Dialga deck, which is the best deck that it's in right now, the Dialga Arceus deck. And it's just super strong. Like, you can copy any attack, and most of the attacks that you want to copy, which is the reason why you would choose to start loading it up in your game, something like Palkia EX, you can copy its own attack, and you're not even using water energies, so you don't even have to discard them, and you're attacking a Palkia EX for its exact HP with 150. Same thing with Charizard, right? Like, you're most likely not playing fire energies, so you're not even discarding fire energies. You're not discarding any energy at all, and you're getting 200 damage. Even Celebi, if you ramp enough energy on Mew EX, you can copy Celebi, right? So he's just way too versatile. Honestly, I'm probably put him top of A, to be honest. Mismatches, I think, is not great at all. I think we could potentially put it... I'm going to put it right here. I think it's in the same boat as Glaceon, where it's like, yeah, we got a new EX, but then we realized, like, okay, it was fun to test for 3 seconds, but I'll probably never play it again. I've played it once, so I'm good. I'm moving on. I'll never play this card again. And I just don't think it's that great. Like, he has burst energy. You can do 70 for 2, and then Confuse. Confuse is not even that great, like, to be completely honest. I think you could still retreat, right? And then just completely make it null and void. So it's not like anything crazy. If confusion or status effects in general in the future get better and get more support, then maybe this deck will be good. But burst energy is good, but aggro is a lot better. And again, there's so much ramp. Even when it's a 2 energy requirement, you can ramp into 3 or 4 just as quickly nowadays. Cresselia is probably the worst card, to be honest. Unfortunately, I haven't tested it much myself. To be honest, I've never even made a deck on it yet. And it's because I'm trying to figure out how to do it, right? Like, I'm not going to do a Gardevoir version because that's literally the bot version of the deck, which means it's most likely not good. And then even Dusknoir, like, do you want to build a Dusknoir deck? Like, is Dusknoir even necessary in a Cresselia EX deck? It's only 140 HP, 3 energy to do 80. And then you have to keep putting energies on Cresselia to heal it, which means you're wasting all your energies and putting way more energies on Cresselia than you actually need, which means you're never building up a second Cresselia. So it's just not good. It's just not a good mechanic of a card. Like, it almost just doesn't make sense, to be completely honest. Machamp... probably bottom, man. I'm going to bring this over here just because these stage 2 Pokemon that have no value anymore, I think I have to put lower, to be completely honest. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Machamp is just not great. Honestly, I think there are better non-EX Pokemon that fit the exact same niche as Machamp does, being able to do 120 or more for 3 or more energy as a stage 2. Something like both Golems could basically do this, and you can ramp into them with Brock, and they're not EX Pokemon, and they're both pretty valuable. He's just not strong enough for a stage 2 anymore. And he never really was, which is kind of a shame. Like, I almost feel like we need a new one, or they need to figure out a way to buff this card because it's just not great. Marowak is absolutely the worst card, I think. He's just not worth playing. He's just not worth ever trying to get 160 damage. There's cards that could get way less damage for way more value. Like I said, Arceus doing 130 as a basic instead of trying to get 160 with Marowak when you can just get 0 by accident, like, or not by accident, but by chance, like, is pretty bad. Aerodactyl, you know what? I think Aerodactyl is one of those cards that hasn't been played in a while, for a couple of reasons, obviously, but I think it's kind of been forgotten about. Whereas, like, if maybe people started playing it again, like, we might find that it has some value. But the issue with it is a lot of decks aren't evolving or don't need to. The Dialga Arceus is the best deck in the game right now, and it plays all basics. 18 trainer card decks all play basics. Leafeon is a stage 1. Executor is a stage 1. Yanmega, Starmie EX, Gyarados are all stage 1s, which are easier to evolve quicker than an Aerodactyl would, because you can get Pokeball to get your basics to evolve into your stage 1s, whereas you cannot search your old Amber, right? So the value of its ability just isn't there. And because it gives 2 prizes and only has 140 HP for an EX, when you could just be playing something like Rampardos or way more aggressive non-2 prize cards for fighting decks right now, it's probably just not worth playing. But is it still B? I don't know. I think it's top of C, to be honest, just because I still feel like it has a ton of value. I'm going to put Gallade at top of B. Or maybe... Oh, I think we're going to do this. I'm going to put Palkia back here too as well. I think Palkia is so strong right now, to be honest. It's just... whatever. We've already talked about Palkia. Gallade X, I think, is... very good. It fits one of my top criteria in order to be played in the meta right now, and it's the fact that it can sweep games. There is a lot of decks. I mean, just look at this: Palkia, Mew, Leafeon, Celebi, Charizard, Articuno, Yanmega, Gyarados. Like, just these cards alone, and I haven't even got into like Dialga and Arceus yet, are all cards that have a minimum of 3 energy requirement in order to do something, to basically, in order to attack. So Gallade, there's a lot of Pokemon in the game right now, at the top of the game, that need a lot of energy to attack. And Gallade's going to basically take care of that. Like, he will, once he's online, he will start to sweep games most likely. The issue with Gallade is if you are in games, for instance, like a Rampardos deck that does not play a lot of energy per Pokemon, you kind of run into an issue. And the issue that deck has isn't just that Gallade can't do it. It doesn't really have a good backup plan. And so it kind of needs that backup plan, which I don't think has been figured out yet. Like, your backup plan can't really be Sudowoodo, because, again, when those matchups where it's those non-EX decks, those fighting toolbox decks, you have no good backup plan. But I do think it's very good, and I do think okay, I'll do this. I'll do top of B, because I do think it almost gets to A, but it's not there. Garchomp, I honestly think is D, and a lot of people might not like this, but I think, first of all, its Dragon Claw attack is absolutely horrendous. 3 energy for 100 damage on a stage 2 is absolutely berserk. It makes no sense. It's not strong at all. And I'm not spending the time to evolve into a stage 2 just to do 50 damage to whatever Pokemon I want for 1 energy. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the single energy requirement to do 50 damage to whatever you want, and it's not worth 3 energy requirement to do 100 damage to the active. It's just not. I think it's really bad, and the only reason I'm putting it at top of D right now is because I don't think it's been tested that much. And I don't think it will continue to be tested, but it should be continued to be tested just in case. So I'm holding out hope for the next set, the Shine and Revelry. Hopefully will come out with like a rare candy or something to help evolution decks. And then maybe we can get into this and then start doing 50 damage for 1 energy as often as we can, as quickly as we can, with Lucario in the back, pumping our damage to the active and stuff like that. But for now, I think D for sure. But top or bottom, I'm not sure. I'm gonna keep it in top for now because it's a newer card. Weavile, I do think it's B. I will put it above Infernape, but below Gallade and Articuno. I think it's just good. It's played in a good deck. It has a very clear cut what it wants to do. It can be paired with things like Spiritomb and Darkrai. It could be paired with a lot of things, in fact. So it's just a overall pretty decent card for 1 energy, and I think you want to be pretty aggressive in this format or be able to ramp to be aggressive. So I do think it's pretty decent. And then Darkrai, Darkrai still think is probably honestly, I'll put it top of A. In the 3rd spot there for A. I do think it's still very good. Like, to be able to like put energy on it and do 60 free damage and then do 80, so basically 100. You're basically doing 140 damage for 3 energy. Like, that's pretty decent. You know what I mean? No one's really playing Yanmega, so there's nothing that's going to absolutely one-shot this for weakness, anyways. With a giant cape, it could take a shot from Palkia. So it could take a shot from a bunch of stuff. Pretty much everything, actually, with a giant cape. Even with a Yanmega hidden for weakness, it could basically take a shot from almost everything, except for Charizard or Celebi if it gets the rolls, and potentially Gallade. I would have to do the math. So there is very few Pokemon that could one-shot it. The issue is with Darkrai right now, and where it will go in the future is there's no way to ramp Dark Energy, which is probably a good thing. But I think ramp right now is just extremely strong and extremely valuable. And Darkrai is played in decks. Like, the best Darkrai deck, in my opinion, is not the Weavile Darkrai deck. It's still the Darkrai Magnezone deck, and it's because you can basically build 2 Pokemon at the same time. So it has that one up, allowing it to still stay kind of in the top of the meta, somewhere in that like top 10 deck range. Dialga, honestly, it's probably at this point it has to be almost S tier. It's played in the best deck. It has 150 HP. It could be super tanky with capes and maybe even Adaman. I don't know if a lot of people are playing Adaman yet. I feel like that card's super under-tested, super underplayed. But it just has so much versatility. It can ramp on to Arceus. It can ramp on to Yanmega, Mew EX. It could ramp on anything, but those are the ones that's usually used. It could ramp on to Tauros, like Melmetal, and then, of course, Probopass, which we'll get into next. I think it's got high HP. It's got the ability to be able to stay on the field because of things like Adaman, which I think cards like that and Erica and Irida have like a ton of value in the meta right now, basically trying to keep Pokemon on the field for as long as you can so that you can ramp a ton and do a ton of damage over time. I think it's S tier, but I honestly, I'll put it top of A above Palkia. And it's only because I already know what I want to put in S, and I don't want to put more than 2 cards in S, to be completely honest. But yes, Probopass is going to be, I'll put him bottom B for now. I don't think it's meta relevant in any way, shape, or form, but 160 HP, if you put a giant cape on that, like, it's very hard to knock this guy out, but he's just not that strong. But I think he still has more value, to be honest, than anything in C or D right now. So I do feel comfortable putting him in bottom of B. Wigglytuff, I could put him probably C. I still think it's pretty decent. Where do I want to put him? Oh man, where do I want to? I'll put him here. Yeah, I'll put him here. Whoops. I'll put him below Zapdos. I think. Listen, you can't. You just can't put things to sleep or confuse. Honestly, I'm gonna put. I'm gonna put these both in D right now because the honestly, with so much Arceus in the meta right now, there's no way that status effects are going to have any type of real value until there's a card that could like turn Arceus' effect off or something. So yeah, I don't think so. Pidgeot, I'll put him top of C. I still think this is a very strong card. I just don't think it has any meta value. Although, again, it's like people should probably be testing this because it's probably pretty strong against Arceus. Like, Arceus wants to have a lot of Pokemon on the bench. So I don't... I could see it being pretty decent. And then you can have Pokeflute, which might hurt you as well because of Arceus. But, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely... I'll put it top of C easily. Licky, super coin flippy. Honestly... 140 for I'll put him bottom of C. I don't think he's D, but I don't think he's anywhere close to top of C, but we'll just skip it and we'll just go right to the top. I think Arceus is probably S tier, to be completely honest. It has nothing to do with his effect. The effect is the cherry on top, and honestly it does have value because it just basically stops certain decks from being played or from people wanting to play it. Like, no one's going to, like, let's say for instance, like last format, like Wigglytuff or Miss Magius or whatever were like one of the top card decks in the game. If Arceus came in and now is the top deck in the game and has the highest meta share, no one's ever, like, those two decks would basically just disappear, right? And they would disappear because there's no reason to play them because the majority of the meta share is going to be Arceus, which is what that meta share is right now. Like, if you look at all the decks Arceus in, it has the highest meta share, and it's for a reason. Being able to do 130 damage, I think I'm mathing out right. It's 130, I'm pretty sure. But for 3 energy, 130 is very good. Especially when you think of anything really higher than that has a massive, like, either like drawback or stipulation, right? Palkia has to discard 3. Charizard has to discard 2. Gyarados can do 140, so that's pretty decent, but is he worth playing to do that? Probably not, because it's stage 1, whereas your Arceus is a basic, right? You can ramp on to Arceus with your Dialga or a Manaphy. You can play him in any Arceus Link deck. Like, Arceus Carnivine is very good. People are still playing Arceus Crobat Heatran. People are playing Arceus Heatran with Greninja and Druddigon, right? Like, there's so many Arceus decks. Arceus Darkrai. Like, there's so many Arceus decks, and it just fits so well into so many things. And it's so easy to get his attack online with either ramping or not. Like, just tanking with something and manually loading up. And then to get the requirement of Pokemon on your bench. It doesn't feel like Pikachu in the sense that because it's 3 energy requirement, you have more time sometimes, so you don't need to feel like you have to play 7 basics. But a lot of Arceus decks do play 7 basics, and it is a smart idea. But I just think Arceus by far is for sure the best card in the game right now, and even if it wasn't the best card in the game right now, it would still probably be A, because it just has so much options to be played and be played along with. And like, you can basically, there's like, just with the Link decks you can build, there's like 7 different Link decks you can build. And then you remove all the Link Pokemon and you still have like 5 other decks that have nothing to do with Link Pokemon. So anyways, that's it for the tier list. I hope you like it. If you disagree or agree, let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share. Join my Discord and my Twitter. And as always, keep cooking.